If you're over 60 and managing diabetes or even just watching your blood sugar, there is one simple fruit that doctors and researchers are calling one of the most powerful natural tools for controlling fasting blood glucose. And the best time to eat it? Right before breakfast. This isn't a trending health claim. This isn't a supplement company trying to sell you something. This is backed by peer-reviewed clinical trials, published in journals like the Journal of Nutrition, Food and Function, and Frontiers in Endocrinology, and reviewed by dietitians at institutions like Harvard Medical School and the Cleveland Clinic. So stay with me, because what you eat in the first 30 minutes of your morning, before that first full meal, may be one of the most important decisions you make for your blood sugar all day long. Why morning? Blood sugar matters most for people over 60. Let's start with the biology, because understanding why matters just as much as knowing what to eat. When you sleep, your body is not doing nothing. Your liver is quietly releasing stored glucose into your bloodstream, a normal process called the dawn phenomenon. In healthy individuals, the pancreas responds with a small surge of insulin to manage this. But in people over 60 with type 2 diabetes, this system is impaired. Insulin sensitivity naturally decreases with age, and the pancreas may no longer respond with enough speed or efficiency. What does this mean practically? It means your fasting blood glucose, the number you measure in the morning before eating, is often at its most unstable point of the day. And how you respond to that critical window can either set you up for stable energy and controlled glucose levels throughout the day, or trigger a roller coaster of spikes and crashes that affects your heart, your nerves, your kidneys, and your vision. This is precisely why what you eat before your first full meal carries enormous metabolic weight for diabetics, especially seniors. Now, what if a single, humble, inexpensive fruit could significantly slow the entry of sugar into your bloodstream, improve your body's sensitivity to insulin, protect your blood vessels, and even reduce long-term markers of diabetes like HbA1c? Let's talk about the science. The fruit doctors and clinical researchers keep coming back to, especially for people over 60 with diabetes or insulin resistance, is the blueberry. Not an exotic superfood, not a supplement, not a juice. The real, whole, fresh or frozen blueberry. Here's what the research actually says. Not headlines, actual studies. Study number 1. The Insulin Sensitivity Trial, published in Journal of Nutrition 2010. In a controlled feeding study using 45 grams of freeze-dried blueberries in obese adults with insulin resistance, researchers measured insulin sensitivity using hyperinsulinemic euglycemic clamps, the gold standard technique in metabolic research. The result? A significant increase of approximately 22% in insulin sensitivity in the blueberry group compared to the placebo group. This is clinically meaningful. That level of improvement rivals what some lifestyle interventions aim to achieve. Study number 2. The Veterans Trial, published in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition 2020. This was a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial, the highest quality of evidence in nutrition science. 52 male veterans with type 2 diabetes, with an average age of 67 years, consumed 22 grams of freeze-dried blueberries or a placebo daily for 8 weeks. The results showed that the blueberry group had significantly lower HbA1c, the 3-month blood sugar average, as well as lower fructosamine, lower triglycerides, and improved liver enzyme levels. HbA1c dropped from 7.5% in the placebo group to 7.1% in the blueberry group. That half a percentage point may seem small, but clinically it represents meaningful reduction in long-term diabetes complications. Study number 3, the Acute Glucose Response Study, published in PMC 2021. Researchers measured blood glucose at 30, 60, 90, and 120 minutes after participants consumed carbohydrates alongside 150 grams of fresh blueberries. Compared to eating carbohydrates alone, the blueberry group had significantly lower glucose levels at every single time point. The total area under the glucose curve, a measure of how much sugar entered the bloodstream, was significantly reduced. 6 days of blueberry supplementation produced even stronger results, and a sweeping meta-analysis of 19 randomized controlled trials, published in Frontiers in Endocrinology, confirmed what these individual studies pointed to. Eating whole fruit in moderation significantly decreased fasting blood glucose in people with diabetes. Understanding how blueberries work is key to understanding why timing matters and why eating them before breakfast is especially strategic. Mechanism number 1. Anthocyanins, nature's glucose. Regulators blueberries are exceptionally rich in a class of plant compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue-purple color. Anthocyanins have been shown in both lab studies and clinical trials to improve insulin signaling at the cellular level. They enhance the sensitivity of muscle cells to insulin, meaning your muscles can pull glucose out of the blood more efficiently. A large meta-analysis from prospective cohort studies showed that diets high in anthocyanins were associated with an 18% reduction in type 2 diabetes risk. Mechanism number 2. Alpha-glucosidase inhibition. This is a particularly important mechanism for diabetics. Blueberry polyphenols, particularly chlorogenic acid and procyanidins, have been shown to inhibit an enzyme called alpha-glucosidase in the digestive tract. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down complex carbohydrates into simple sugars that enter the blood. When it's inhibited naturally by blueberry compounds, the rate of sugar absorption from your entire meal slows down significantly. This is, in fact, the same mechanism exploited by the prescription diabetes medication acarbose, but here, blueberries offer it naturally, gently, and alongside a host of other nutrients. Mechanism number 3. Fiber and the viscosity effect. 1 cup of raw blueberries contains approximately 3.6 grams of dietary fiber. A systematic review published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that soluble dietary fiber significantly impacts gastric emptying and postprandial blood glucose responses in people with type 2 diabetes. The fiber in blueberries increases the viscosity of stomach contents, literally slowing down how quickly digested material moves toward the small intestine, the point where sugar absorption occurs. Eating blueberries before breakfast creates this protective buffering effect before your main meal's carbohydrates arrive. Mechanism number 4. Gut microbiome support. Emerging research published in PMC 2021 found that blueberry polyphenols reshape the gastrointestinal microbiota in ways that improve glucose metabolism. Specific beneficial bacteria, including Akkermansia mucinifera, are promoted by berry polyphenols, and these bacteria are associated with better insulin sensitivity and reduced metabolic inflammation. For seniors over 60, whose gut microbiome diversity naturally declines with age, this is a particularly relevant benefit. Mechanism 5. Anti-inflammatory and antioxidant protection. Chronic low-grade inflammation is a hallmark of type 2 diabetes and accelerates all of its complications: heart disease, neuropathy, kidney disease, and retinopathy. Blueberries are one of the most antioxidant-dense foods measurable on the ORAC scale. Multiple studies have shown they reduce markers of oxidative stress and inflammation, including C-reactive protein, in people with metabolic syndrome and diabetes. For people over 60, where vascular inflammation compounds naturally with aging, this protective effect is critical. Now let's get practical, because knowing what to eat is only half the equation. Knowing when and how to eat it is what transforms this from interesting science into real results for your health. Why before breakfast? Eating blueberries in the 15 to 30 minutes before your main morning meal takes advantage of a clinically documented effect: the preload strategy. Research on dietary preloading shows that consuming fiber-rich, low-glycemic food before a meal reduces the glycemic impact of that meal significantly. When blueberry fiber and polyphenols are present in your digestive tract as your breakfast carbohydrates, oatmeal, bread, eggs, or fruit, arrive, the alpha-glucosidase enzyme is already being inhibited. The gastric emptying rate is already slowed, and the stage is set for a much gentler glucose curve. The Harvard Health team notes explicitly that eating fruit alongside high-starch foods, like berries with cereal, is dramatically better than eating those starches alone. The key is that the fiber and polyphenols must be physically present and active during digestion of the main meal. How much to eat? The research is consistent on this point. The clinical trials that showed the most significant benefits used roughly 150 grams of fresh blueberries, approximately 1 cup, or the equivalent in freeze-dried form. The American Diabetes Association recommends treating one serving of fruit as approximately 15 grams of carbohydrate, and 1 cup of blueberries contains roughly 21 grams of carbs, but with a low glycemic index of just 53, meaning the sugar rises slowly and gently. The recommendation from registered dietitians at Harvard and the Cleveland Clinic aligns: up to 3 fruit servings per day, spaced out, with blueberries being one of the top choices for diabetics. The research shows that pairing blueberries with a small amount of protein or healthy fat further blunts any glucose response. Excellent pairings before breakfast include a small handful of raw almonds or walnuts, about 10 to 12 nuts, a tablespoon of natural almond butter, a 1/4 cup of plain Greek yogurt. The fat and protein content of these foods further slows gastric emptying and provides satiety, so you eat a more controlled breakfast portion. Fresh versus frozen versus freeze-dried? All 3 forms retain meaningful amounts of anthocyanins and polyphenols, though fresh and freeze-dried tend to preserve bioactive content best. Research published in Food Function noted that frozen berries may lose up to 42% of anthocyanin content compared to raw forms, but still deliver significant health benefits, and frozen blueberries are more affordable and available year-round, making consistency easier. Now let's talk about what not to do, because several common habits completely undermine the benefits we've been discussing. 1. Drinking blueberry juice instead of eating whole berries. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition examined whole fruit versus juice consumption, finding that while whole grape and berry consumption showed neutral to beneficial effects on diabetes risk, fruit juice consumption was associated with increased diabetes risk. Why? Juicing destroys the fiber matrix, not the very thing that protects you. Without fiber, you're essentially drinking concentrated sugar that hits your bloodstream immediately. Blueberry juice, smoothies made without the pulp, and fruit drinks are not substitutes. Always choose the whole berry. 2. Eating blueberries with high sugar foods. Adding blueberries to sweetened yogurt, sugary granola, or syrup-laden pancakes doesn't preserve the benefit. The sugar load from those foods overwhelms the protective effect of the blueberry's fiber and polyphenols. Stick to unsweetened bases. 3. Eating too much at once. Even low glycemic fruits can raise blood sugar if consumed in large quantities at a single sitting. Registered dietitian Nancy Oliveira of Brigham and Women's Hospital advises patients to spread fruit across the day rather than consuming multiple servings at once. 1 cup before breakfast is appropriate, not 2 or 3 cups. 4. Assuming all fruits are equal. They are not. While all whole fruits offer fiber, not all fruits are appropriate before breakfast for a diabetic senior. High glycemic fruits, watermelon, GI of 74, ripe bananas, GI of 62, and pineapple, GI of up to 82, can spike blood sugar rapidly, particularly in the morning when insulin sensitivity is lower. Blueberries, with a GI of 53, berries in general, apples, and citrus fruits are the preferred choices endorsed by the American Diabetes Association. Let's be clear about where this guidance comes from. The American Diabetes Association explicitly recommends berries and citrus fruits as top choices for people with diabetes, noting that fruit is an important part of a balanced diabetes diet when portion sizes are managed. The Harvard Medical School nutrition team emphasizes that whole fruits lower the risk of cardiovascular disease and all-cause mortality in people with diabetes, based on systematic reviews of observational studies published in Nutrition Reviews. The Cleveland Clinic's registered dietitians reinforce that blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries are among the most diabetes-friendly fruits due to their combination of low sugar, high fiber, and high antioxidant content. The National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, NIDDK, recommends including fruits as part of a healthy diabetic meal plan. None of these institutions are promoting a single miracle cure, but all of them, independently, point toward the same conclusion. Low GI, high polyphenol, fiber-rich berries, consumed as whole fruit, are among the most clinically supported dietary choices for blood sugar management in older adults. Let's bring this together into something you can actually do starting tomorrow morning. Step 1. The night before, Portion out approximately 1 cup, about 148 grams, of fresh or frozen blueberries. If frozen, place them in a small bowl in the refrigerator overnight to thaw gently. Step 2. In the morning, 15 to 30 minutes before your main breakfast, eat the blueberries slowly. Chew them well. Chewing itself slows digestion. Pair with 10-12 almonds or a tablespoon of natural nut butter for added protein and fat. Step 3. Monitor your blood glucose response. Use your glucometer or CGM to check your fasting level before and your postprandial level 1 to 2 hours after breakfast. Over 1 to 2 weeks, you should see a pattern of more gradual, controlled glucose curves on mornings when you use this approach versus those when you don't. Step 4. Keep variety in your diet. Blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries offer similar benefits. The American Diabetes Association encourages eating the rainbow. Different colored fruits carry different phytonutrient profiles with overlapping benefits. Step 5. Discuss with your doctor or dietitian. If you are on insulin or sulfonylureas, any dietary change that improves insulin sensitivity may require adjustment of your medication dosage. This is a good problem to have, but it must be managed medically. Managing diabetes over 60 doesn't have to mean restriction and deprivation. It means making smarter, science-backed choices, and sometimes those choices are as simple and accessible as a cup of blueberries before breakfast. The evidence is real. The mechanisms are understood. The benefits, from improved insulin sensitivity to reduced HbA1c to better cardiovascular health, are documented in peer-reviewed clinical trials involving people at the same age and with the same conditions as you. 1 cup before breakfast. That's where you start. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs it, a parent, a sibling, a friend managing diabetes. And subscribe for more senior health content built on real science, not hype.